Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something truly mind-blowing?
I hope so.
Today we're exploring AI that can create entire 3D worlds from a single 2D image.
It's pretty wild stuff.
Like seriously, a flat picture transformed into a 3D environment you can actually explore.
It's kind of like magic, but it's all thanks to some incredible AI breakthroughs.
We'll be digging into some fascinating articles from TechCrunch and insights from the Agared's YouTube videos.
Yeah, they both cover this new AI feature from a company called Worldlabs.
And Worldlabs is doing some really cutting-edge work in a field they call spatial intelligence.
Right, and it's all about giving AI a deeper understanding of 3D space, like how our brains perceive the world.
So it's not just about recognizing what's in an image, but understanding the relationships between objects, their depth, how they're positioned in a scene.
Exactly. It's about AI that can see in 3D, not just 2D.
I'm already starting to see how this is different from those AI image generators that are all over the internet.
Oh, yeah. Those are amazing for creating cool art, but they're limited to one viewpoint at a time.
Right, you can't really move around inside the image or explore it from different angles.
That's where Worldlabs is changing the game.
So how does it actually work? How does AI go from a flat picture to a fully explorable 3D world?
Well, it's a pretty complex process, but the first step is for the AI to estimate the 3D geometry of the scene.
So even though you're giving it a flat image, it's figuring out depth, which objects are closer, which are farther away.
Exactly. It's adding those missing dimensions, kind of like how our eyes perceive depth in real life.
And it gets even crazier, right?
Oh, yeah.
This AI can actually fill in missing information.
Like if you take a picture of your desk, but you can only see the front.
The AI can extrapolate what's behind you.
It can create a complete 3D model of the entire room, even the parts you didn't capture in the photo.
Wait, so if I took a picture of, say, a busy street,
It could build a 3D model of the entire street, even the buildings and stuff that are off to the sides outside of the frame.
that's mind-blowing.
And it's not limited to just photos either. It can work with all sorts of images.
Like what?
A hand-drawn sketch, a painting, a screenshot from a video game.
No way.
The AI can maintain consistency and style, whether it's realistic, cartoony, or anything in between.
That's amazing. But what really blows my mind is that you can actually explore these AI-generated 3D worlds.
That's the best part.
And you can do it right in your web browser.
No need for any fancy software.
That's like stepping into a video game, right?
You can fly around the scene, zoom in on details, get different camera angles.
So I could take a picture of a landscape painting, upload it.
And then suddenly you're inside that painting, walking around and experiencing it in 3D.
That's insane. And you could even simulate cinematic effects, right?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
changing the depth of field to get that blurry background, or even doing a dolly zoom.
Wait, a dolly zoom. Like in the movies.
Exactly. It's where the background stretches or compresses while the subject stays the same size.
Whoa, okay, now this is getting really cool.
And here's the thing, what sets this apart from other AI art tools is that it's actually generating 3D scenes.
Not just pixels, but a real 3D environment.
Exactly. It's not just stitching together separate images, it's building a persistent 3D world that stays consistent no matter how you view it.
So no matter how I move around, zoom in, or change my perspective, the scene stays true to that 3D understanding.
That's the magic of it. It's not just a trick of the eye, it's grounded in real 3D geometry and physics.
This is truly groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, what else can you do within these AI-generated 3D worlds?
Oh, you're not limited to just looking around.
There's more.
Way more. You can actually interact with the environment in some pretty incredible ways.
Now you got me hooked. Spill the beans. What kind of interactions are we talking about?
Well, for starters, you have control over the lighting and appearance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so imagine you've got that 3D scene of a busy street.
Uh-huh.
You could change the time of day, make it sunset, or even nighttime with streetlights.
Wow, that's cool.
It's like having a virtual photographer's studio at your fingertips.
I can see how that would be super useful for filmmakers.
Absolutely. But what about actually changing the scene itself? Like modifying the 3D environment.
Oh, can you do that?
For sure, you can adjust the geometry of
It's
object,
like
make a wall taller, or shrink a doorway, even reshape entire buildings.
it's not just about exploring a pre-made world.
Yeah.
Then you can actually shape and mold that world.
Exactly, and it gets even better. You can actually add new objects into the scene.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, imagine adding a giant sculpture to that busy street scene. The AI understands the 3D space, so
It just fit right in.
The sculpture would be lit and shadowed, correctly scaled properly. It blends seamlessly with the existing environment.
Hold on, so it's not just a basic copy and paste?
Nope, the AI is actually figuring out how the light would hit the new object, how the shadows would fall.
That's insane. It's way beyond just like photoshopping something into a flat image.
It really is a huge leap forward. And speaking of mind-blowing stuff, we haven't even talked about the demos Worldlabs has on their website.
Oh yeah, those.
They've got some seriously cool interactive features that really show off the level of control you have over these 3D scenes.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Tell me more about those demos. What kind of mind-bending stuff are we talking about?
One of the coolest things is that you can adjust the depth of field in real time. You know how in photography you can blur the background?
Yeah, to make the subject stand out?
It's that same effect, but you're doing it in a 3D environment.
So you can control that blurry background effect right there within the AI world.
You got it. And they even have sliders, so you can dynamically change the focus and create all sorts of cool visual effects.
That's so cool. It's like you're not just viewing the scene, you're also directing it like a filmmaker.
Totally. And they have this color wave animation that's really mesmerizing too.
Yeah, I like.
It creates this ripple effect through the whole 3D environment almost, like the world is breathing. It's wild. But honestly, what really blew me away was their ability to let you step inside famous paintings.
Wait, are you serious? Like I could be standing in the middle of Starry Night.
Exactly. They're demonstrating that capability right now on their website. You can explore iconic paintings in 3D walk-around and experience them from a whole new perspective.
Okay, my head is officially spinning. This is incredible.
It really is. But you know, we've talked a lot about the wow factor.
Yeah.
Let's get practical for a second. What are the real-world applications of this technology?
That's a good point. Where is this stuff actually being used right now?
Well, one of the most obvious applications is in game design.
Oh, I can see that.
Instead of building entire game levels from scratch.
Yeah, which takes forever.
Developers can use this AI to quickly prototype and experiment with different layouts, or even generate entire worlds based on a single concept image.
It's like giving game designers a supercharged set of tools.
Exactly, and it's not just games either. There's virtual production for film and TV.
Oh, how does that work?
Imagine shooting a scene with real actors, but the background is entirely virtual.
Like a green screen.
But way more advanced, the virtual background would react to lighting or camera movements in real time.
So you could be filming a scene that takes place on an alien planet, but the actors are actually just on a soundstage.
Exactly. It's going to revolutionize filmmaking. But what about more everyday applications, you know, like architecture or real estate?
Oh, yeah. Could this technology filter down to stuff like that?
Absolutely. Architects could use this AI to create 3D models of their designs. Clients could walk through a virtual building before it's even built.
Wow, that's amazing. And what about real estate?
Imagine giving potential buyers a virtual tour of a property without even having to leave their homes.
It would be like a video game walkthrough, but for a real house.
That's the idea. It could totally change the way we buy and sell homes. You know, thinking about all this makes me wonder what happens when we combine this AI with VR technology.
Oh, man. That's a whole other level of immersion.
Imagine being able to create entire VR worlds from a single image, or even just a text prompt.
Whoa, you're saying I can put on a VR headset and suddenly I'm in a world based on my own imagination?
We're not quite there yet, but that's definitely the direction things are heading.
Okay, now we're talking about a future I can get excited about.
It's not just about entertainment. Either imagine the potential for education and training students could explore historical sites or even travel inside the human body, all from the comfort of their classrooms.
That's like giving everyone access to a personal holodeck.
It really is. But with all this talk about the future, I think it's important to be realistic too. There are definitely challenges and limitations to this technology.
Well, for sure. What are some of the biggest hurdles?
Well, one thing to remember is that the quality of the 3D environment depends on the quality of the input image.
So if I give it a blurry photo,
The 3D model is going to be blurry too. You can't create something amazing from bad input.
it's like that saying garbage in, garbage out.
Pretty much. And another big challenge is creating truly interactive and dynamic 3D environments.
What do you mean by dynamic?
Well, right now, the AI is great at generating static 3D scenes, but creating environments where objects can move and interact realistically, that's still a big hurdle.
So it's one thing to create a beautiful 3D model.
It's another thing entirely to make that model come to life.
Yeah, like the difference between a diorama and a video game.
Right, and that level of interactivity is crucial for things like VR training or really immersive video games, but to get there, we're going to need some serious advancements in AI.
So it's not just a computer science problem. It's a whole bunch of different fields working together.
Exactly. It's a multidisciplinary challenge, which makes it even more exciting. But, there's also the practical consideration of computational power.
Oh, right. This stuff must take a ton of processing power.
It does. Right now, it's mainly accessible to big tech companies with massive servers.
But eventually maybe everyday people could run this AI on their own computers.
It's definitely possible as technology advances. We usually see the hardware requirements come down.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would mean anyone could create these incredible 3D worlds.
That's the dream, to democratize 3D creation and make it accessible to everyone. But, we've talked a lot about the tech side of things.
Yeah.
What about the business side? How is Worldlabs planning to make money from this?
That's a good question. Will it be a subscription service, a one-time purchase, something else entirely?
Honestly, they haven't said yet. They're still figuring out the best way to monetize this technology.
So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep. But based on their company mission, they seem to be prioritizing accessibility and affordability.
That's great to hear. It sounds like they really want this technology to be used for good.
I agree. We've covered the technical aspects, the applications, but what about the bigger picture?
The societal impact.
Exactly. This technology is going to blur the lines between reality and virtual reality in ways we can't even imagine yet.
It's almost like we're entering a new era of human existence.
It's both exciting and a little scary. We need to be having conversations about how this technology will affect our relationships, our sense of self, even our understanding of what's real.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around, but it's important that we start thinking about these things now.
Absolutely. We need to be proactive, not reactive. We need to guide the development of this AI in a direction that benefits everyone.
This conversation has taken us to some pretty deep places.
It has.
But I think it's good to step back from the big picture sometimes and just appreciate the incredible things that are happening right now.
I agree. It's easy to get lost in the philosophical implications, but at the end of the day,
This technology is just really cool.
it is, and it has the potential to be so much more than just cool. It could change the world.
And it's all thanks to the power of AI.
Pretty amazing, huh?
So we've touched on some limitations, but I'm curious, what do you think is missing from this technology? Where is there room for improvement?
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive about AI that can generate 3D worlds from a single image. It's really amazing technology.
It is. So let's try to distill all this down to some key takeaways for our listeners.
Sounds good.
What are the big things they should walk away remembering from this deep dive?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that we're seeing AI develop a whole new level of spatial understanding.
Right. It's not just about recognizing objects anymore.
It's about understanding how those objects exist in a 3D space, how they relate to each other.
It's almost like AI is learning to see the world the way we do.
Exactly. And that opens up a ton of possibilities for creators of all kinds.
Yeah, we talked about game developers, filmmakers, architects, but this tech could be used for so much more.
And we're really just at the beginning. Who knows what amazing applications we'll see in the coming years.
It's exciting, but we also talked about some potential downsides to this technology, right?
We did. It's important to remember that any powerful tool can be misused.
So what are some of the risks we need to be thinking about?
Well, the ability to create these hyper-realistic 3D environments raises some serious questions about privacy and misinformation.
Right, if someone can create a perfect virtual replica of your home from a single photo, that's a little unsettling.
It is. And then there's the whole issue of deepfakes, using this technology to create fake videos that are indistinguishable from reality.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
It is, and it highlights the need for ethical guidelines and regulations around this technology.
We need to be thinking about these things now before it's too late.
I agree. It's our responsibility to ensure that this technology is used for good, not for harm.
So much to consider. It's mind-boggling.
It really is. But,
Yes.
amidst all the complexity and the potential risks, there's also a sense of wonder.
Oh, absolutely.
This technology is pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. It's making us rethink our relationship with reality.
It's a powerful reminder that the future is full of surprises.
And that we have a role to play in shaping that future.
Well said. So if our listeners could walk away pondering just one question after this deep dive, what would it be?
I think the most important question is this: how can we use this technology to make the world a better place?
That's a great question. It's a challenge to all of us to think beyond the hype and consider the real impact this technology can have.
Whether it's solving problems, creating new forms of art, connecting people, The possibilities are truly endless.
It's up to us to make sure those possibilities are used for good.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, on that inspiring note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of AI-generated 3D environments.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It has, and I want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us today.
My pleasure. I always enjoy talking about this stuff.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of AI in 3D worlds.
We hope you learned something new.
And that you'll keep exploring the incredible possibilities that technology has to offer.
Until next time, keep your minds open and your imaginations fired up.
And remember, the future is what we make it.